Is there anybody good in the NFL? Week 16 power rankings after this. The Cardinals drop a bunch. Obviously, I haven't been here for 2 weeks. So, is there anybody good in the NFL? We will find out. I have a lot of questions about all of the teams, but we will find out and see. This is going to be one heck of a show, and I'll try to get it over with pretty quickly. But I have quite a few things to say about the bottom half of the top 10. Uh, Week 16 power rankings after this, baby. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. You are watching the Kamper Report Live. We have a new guest today. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Kamper Report. I am your host, Benjamin Kamperman, and today we're going to do NFL Week 16 power rankings. I haven't done it in, I think, 2 weeks it's been, something like that. So we're going to get to it, but, I mean, man, there was a lot of upsets this last week. Not a ton, but the Cardinals obviously went down, so that's going to affect the week, and obviously the Patriots. I have a few things to say on the Patriots. I told you guys, I was saying the whole time, I said in my last power ranking video 2 weeks ago, as soon as the Patriots get down, as soon as they have to throw it more than 30 times, Mac Jones is going to struggle, and they only ran it for like 85 yards. I think they only ran it for like 85 yards on the day. So as soon as they face a good defense, that's why I think really the Patriots, until they can show me that they can throw the ball 45 times with being an effective team, Patriots I don't think are Super Bowl contenders just yet. The Colts might be. But let's get to number 10 on the power rankings. I have the Chargers. This team obviously lost to the Chiefs, but I'll make a good case for them being in there. I mean, they could have won this game so many different ways. I mean, the Chiefs defense was very resilient in the fact that they really could have they stopped the Chargers on, I think it was like 2 or 3 goal line stands where the Chargers were at like the 2 or the 5 or whatever, and they went for it on 4th down, and they ended up losing that. That mic is nice, dude. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, I got it for an investment, and it's pretty nice. Yeah. So, anyways, they ended up losing. Thank you, though. They ended up losing those. They went for it over and over again on 4th down. Ended up continually getting stopped on 4th down by the Chiefs. So the Chiefs defense was resilient. This team really could have beaten the Chiefs many times. I mean, they held Patrick Mahomes. They let Patrick Mahomes get away with a lot of different stuff. I mean, he had a good day, over 400 yards passing. Overall, their leading rusher averaged around 4.5 yards a carry, I think it was. No, actually, Justin Jackson was their leading rusher with 13 carries, 86 yards, and 6.6 yards per carry. So they ran the ball really well. The offense was really well. It was really the defense that started to crumble in the second half, which kind of gave the Chiefs a chance. Obviously, the Chiefs had a goal line stand. I think it was right before the half. So they need to learn on finishing in the red zone. But if they can finish in the red zone and really not give the game away, their defense is still a weakness. But if they can finish in the red zone offensively, this team could be a scary team. I honestly think I'm going to have to say Chargers at number 10, just because they can compete with some of the best teams in the league. They just can't finish all the time. So Chargers at number 10. At number 9, I've got my 49ers. This was a really hard thing. I was like, should I put the Bengals at here? Should I put the Bengals at number 10? 49ers have beaten the Bengals, so I think they deserve to be over them, and they're tied. The Chargers beat the Bengals as well, so that's why I had the Bengals and the 49ers both over. Sorry, the Chargers and the 49ers both over the Bengals. Jimmy Garoppolo is playing the best football he's ever played before. These last 5 weeks have been pretty good for him. I mean, I saw a funny stat. According to PFF, his QB rating is second best in the league. I'm pretty sure, next to Aaron Rodgers, and his completion rate is one of the best in the league the last few games. Um, the last like 5 games. The role that the 49ers have been on, he has had one of the best completion rates. Um, but I mean, so he's playing at a new level. Obviously, they're probably not going to keep him for next year, but Jimmy Garoppolo, I mean, playing at the best he's ever played in his career. He's looking decisive. The last game, he didn't throw an interception, which that's against the Falcons, so I could see why he didn't. But, I mean, it's inside the top 4 QBs. He's playing like a top 10 QB these last few weeks. And I know he has Debo. I know he has Ayuk and George Kittle and everything else. But, I mean, their defense, obviously, their secondary sucks. But you have Nick Bosa, who 6 straight games with a sack. That's really good. 15 sacks on the season. The defensive line is they are getting after the quarterback week after week. So that's something that really is good about them. Obviously, secondary is getting torn up, but I mean, if their offense can keep playing how their offense has been playing, it's been playing very high scoring. This team could be very scary. Their defense could be very good, very decisive. I mean, their defense is top notch right now. So I gotta put them at number 9. They've been playing the best football out of any team in the league. You do not want to play this team right now if they're like this in the playoffs. So Jimmy G playing better than anyone. The run game. Oh my gosh, can we quickly talk about the run game? This is incredible. I mean, their run game has been playing lights out. You put anybody in at running back. You put Jeff Wilson in at running back. He gets you 100 yards. So 49ers run game has been playing better than anything, and then it's paying off. It really is paying off to where they're able to run everything through the run game, and Jimmy Garoppolo is playing lights out because of the run game. So this is how the 49ers offense was supposed to be before the year started, 3 star-studded wideouts: George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Debo Samuel, and then a great run game. I mean, Jeff Wilson ran for over 100 yards last week. So this offense is playing one of the best in the league, and the defensive line getting after it. They have questions on the secondary, but they're playing the best football almost out of anybody, and Jimmy Garoppolo is playing the best football arguably in his career. So that's what I got to say on that. Number 8, you've got the Cardinals. This team suffered an embarrassing loss to the Lions. I mean, wow, is all I got to say. The Lions turned it over, I think got 1 or 2 picks on Kyler Murray here. I mean, the Lions, they did exactly what they were supposed to do against the Cardinals. They came into this game, the only way they were going to win this game is if they took away time of possession by running the ball effectively. They did that. Whatever his name was, I think it was Craig Reynolds. They ran the ball very effectively against this Lions team. I could look up the stats right now, but I think Craig Reynolds had 126 carries, 112 yards. Their time of possession was 31 minutes, which is a little bit more than the Cardinals had. That's 28 minutes. So they controlled a lot of the time of the possession. They were able to, obviously, you can see Kyler Murray is struggling without DeAndre Hopkins, but it was absolutely unexpected. I don't even know what to say about this game that they lost. So an embarrassing loss, but the Lions came in there, did what they had to. Hopefully the Cardinals can get back on track. I think they will, but I think there's going to start to be going forward. They have a hard schedule. They do play the Colts next week, the Cowboys still. I could potentially see a world where they lose the next 2 out of 3 and go 11-6. I hope that happens. But the Cardinals really on a downside. Hopefully they can pick it. Well, not hopefully because I'm a Niners fan, but yeah, I don't know what has happened to them, but if they can get back on track, hopefully they can against the Colts. But I don't know. The Colts are looking like a scary good team with their defense. So at number 7, I've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This team got shut out by the Colts. I mean, I have Tom Brady continues to, I mean, as soon as he loses a few weapons in that game, obviously, they might actually be a not that bad of a team to play. If they play the 49ers in the first round, I'm actually not too scared about that game. For one, Chris Godwin's out for the rest of the season with a torn ACL or MCL, whatever it was. So that was a kind of a dirty hit, but Chris Godwin's out for the rest of the season. So now you're looking at a team that is kind of banged up. I mean, they don't have a lot of their pass catchers. And if you can just get some pressure on Tom Brady, this team's really not that good. I would probably at this point, with all the injuries, would want to play them over a Cowboys team, for example, because the Cowboys defense is better than the Bucs defense. I mean, didn't do too good. Tom Brady probably had one of his worst career games, 26 for 48. Not in a great game. Got shut out 26 for 48, one interception, did not throw a touchdown. So this was one of his bad game that he's had in a long, long, long time. And I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. But the Bucs, I mean, maybe they'll get Leonard Fournette back in the playoffs, but they could go on a skid now that they don't have as many of their good players in this game. So I don't know what to think of them right now, but hopefully, I mean, not hopefully they get it back on track, but that's the one team that I actually, as a wild card team, would want to play in the first round just because they have so many people missing. At number 6, you've got the Rams. This team coming off of a game against the Seahawks. I don't have a lot to say on this I mean, the refs were pretty bad in that game. I mean, this is an interesting stat that I actually pulled up today. Russell Wilson had his worst, according to PFF, he had his worst PFF grade in his career. So that was interesting. Cooper Kupp continued to roll with 9 receptions, 136 yards, and at 2 TDs. So, I mean, they were able to get after Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson doesn't really look like the same after this finger injury. I don't know about that. I mean, about the Bucs. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't really know at this point. I don't know who I would want to play. Bucs D. Oh, yeah, is better. Really? I don't know. After the outing against the Patriots, Colts defense has been really good. So, I don't know. Maybe yeah, that's a hard one, but maybe it is. Their pass rush is pretty good in their run defense. So, yeah, you make a good point. But anyways, Russell Wilson able to get after Russell Wilson. Cooper Kupp continues to roll. This team, I mean, I think, like, I talked to Jake Ellenbogen. Look at that last show that I did a few weeks ago with Jake Ellenbogen. Really cool. Go to Downtown Rams. I think it's called. No, not Downtown Rams. Jake Ellenbogen. Just look him up on YouTube. Great YouTuber. But I was talking to him a few weeks ago. I did a show with him. He said, I kind of agree with him. When I think the Rams need time to figure it out. I think the Rams are going to be the scariest team in the playoffs because as soon as they can kind of figure things out with all their star-studded receivers, this team could absolutely be a stud of a team. So I like the Rams here. They are definitely a contender if they can get it all figured out. And I think they really have. I think they're one of the few teams where I think if they can just get it together, which they've started to the last few weeks, they could be a really scary team moving forward. Patriots, I got at number 5. I already said this. I have a lot to say on the Patriots. I already said this a few minutes ago about the Colts. I mean, anytime I said this a few weeks ago when I put them at number 2. I didn't at the time think they were number 1 because I said if the Patriots get down, and if they're running game, if you could somehow find a way to stop the Patriots running game, the Colts did it this week. The Colts held the Patriots to around 85 yards on the ground. So what happened? Colts were down early. Patriots were down early. The Colts got a few key stops, got a few interceptions. Mac Jones threw 2 interceptions in this game. They got a blocked punt for a touchdown. So Patriots found themselves down early in this game, and I believe right here, Mac Jones had to throw it 45 times. 26 for 45. This guy was not 300 yards, but 2 interceptions, 2 TDs. So didn't play as well. I mean, yeah, they found themselves down early, and like I said, as soon as Mac Jones, as soon as they're down early, as soon as he has to pass the ball, they struggle a little bit. And the Colts defense absolutely played lights out in this game. So Patriots got a loss, but I would say they got exposed. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but the Patriots kind of got exposed on offense, and that's basically how the Colts won the game. At number 4, you've got the Colts. This team, Carson Wentz, I don't know if you guys definitely saw this, but only had to throw it 12 times, 5 for 12, so didn't even do that good. But their defense was just amazing. Carson Wentz, they had a pass block for a touchdown. They had got a few picks on Mac Jones, and it was basically over. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor wasn't actually doing too good at the beginning of that game, but then towards the end, he ended that game with the long run. So Jonathan Taylor continues to be an absolute beast. If the Colts, I could see a possibility that the Colts get to the NFC Championship game because the AFC Championship game, because the AFC is so wide open that I could see a scenario where if they can just lean on Jonathan Taylor later on in the playoffs, if they can lead on Jonathan Taylor, this team could be a surprisingly scary team. What Colts are better than anybody. Hold on, guys. I need to quickly. Yeah, anyways, Colts better than anybody, looking to stay strong here, but I need to probably wrap this up because no, I need to quickly go to break because we have my computer is running low. So we'll quickly go to break. I'll be back in like 15 seconds, guys. Anyways, back to it. So, Colts at number 4, they were absolutely sensational against the Patriots. At number 3, I've got the Cowboys. They took care of business again. They were able to kind of get back on track with a win against the Giants. Defense was better than I expected. Held the Giants to only 6 points. Their defense the last 2 weeks, put Micah Parsons as defensive MVP. Maybe you could make an argument that Nick Bosa, a few other guys, but put Micah Parsons in there. This guy has played lights out this season. That's what I'm going to say. They got back on track, but their defense is better than we expected beginning of the season. So Micah Parsons continuing to go on a rookie, absolute star-studded season. Dak still doesn't look great, but if they can lean on that defense, I don't see why this team's not a top 3 defense after almost shutting out the Giants, who aren't a good team to start with, but still. At number 2, I've got the Chiefs. Again, this team, Patrick Mahomes threw for 400 yards. Still some questions, though, I have about them. Their run game, they really didn't run the ball that much. And when they did, it was only 3 yards a pop, 3 yards a carry. So I still have questions about their run game. It's not great. Their offense still has questions, but their defense was resilient. Like I said earlier on, was resilient against the Chargers, held them to all these goal line stands. So that's incredible to watch. And then at number 1, I've got the Packers. This team, they still have questions, only beat the Ravens by 1, but they let Brett Hundley look really good. Brett Hundley usually is never that good quarterback, but today, he was scrambling around. He looked exactly like Lamar Jackson would look. So Brett Hundley, defense was a little bit shaky. They were beating, I believe, the Ravens by 14 points, 2 touchdowns with like 8 minutes left, and they let the Ravens come back in that game. So just because of that, I still will put them at number 1 because they got a dub. Not very many teams got a dub this week. But because of that, I don't put too much stock into the Packers just because even though they're number 1, they were one of the few teams that got a dub. That's why I think the Packers are number 1. But their defense let the Ravens get back in that game. 2 touchdowns in half a quarter. in the fourth quarter. They let the Ravens come back in that game. So I'm not completely sold on the Packers, but since they were one of the only good teams that got a win this week, I got to give the Packers the benefit of the doubt and put them at number 1. So anyways, guys, that has been my power rankings for you guys. Let me know what you think. Obviously, quick recap: Packers number 1, Chiefs number 2, Cowboys number 3, Colts number 4, Patriots number 5, Rams number 6, Buccaneers number 7, Cardinals number 8, 49ers number 9, Chargers number 10. I will see you guys later, and I will probably, real quick, tomorrow I will be doing a show with Amin at 3 o'clock Mountain Time, 2 o'clock Pacific, and I believe 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock Eastern Time. So I'll see you guys later, and peace out, guys. This has been a lot of fun, and we'll see you for the next Power Rankings video, I believe, next week. So